Hey guys, welcome back to Gaming Garbage. We're taking a look at games, chat about the gaming news in the industry, and of course, stream for fun. Today, we're talking about Xbox raising prices. Now, we got to see that Xbox was basically upping their consoles, upping their accessories, and even saying, hey, we're going to have $80 first-party games starting this holiday. So we know that Nintendo's already doing that. You know, they've made their call. Xbox has made their call, and PlayStation has already put several price increases across the world. Not yet in Canada, I think, or in the United States, but a lot of other places in the world have price increases for consoles and for PlayStation Plus. And I'm sure video games aren't too far behind. So, yeah, a lot of Xbox's consoles are like an extra 20% on top of what they were. So instead of $500 for the Series X, it's $600. We also got to see that Nintendo was pushing prices from, the Switch to the Switch 2 from $300 to $450, which is a massive jump. And then PlayStation has also been raising their prices. And we haven't seen a single price drop still across any current generation, which is just unheard of. It's absolutely unbelievable. But I really want to show you guys this because this is the U.S. tariff calculator. Now, everything is calculated off of the whitehouse.gov. This is where it's getting its information. You can use this too if you want. You can type in anything you want. So let's start with Xbox, okay? Where's stuff manufactured? China, Mexico, and Hungary. What this does not say is that there is also the assembly plant is in the United States. So the entire product, at least for the console, probably the controllers, but not the entire product for the console, is coming across state lines into the United States and getting that tariff. It's all of those pieces put together. So they ship them all in a bunch of pieces, and then it's manufactured here. And yes, that will help the tariff a little bit because pieces aren't not as expensive as the whole, right? For what you're paying for. Now, what you are paying for with the tariff is the retail price. It's not the wholesale price. It's not the cost that it costs you. It's what you're going to sell it to for customers. That is what the tariff is based on. Okay, so let's take a look at China. China is 145% right now. $500 for a console. Look at that. $1,225. That's what Xbox is paying. Now, I'm not supporting, right, quote unquote. I'm not giving a break for many of these companies or corporations. They do have a lot of money. Okay, they do things as cheaply as they can, but that's why most of the stuff is made in China because it's the cheapest place to make stuff and still ship it across the sea into America or anywhere else. 15% of all exports out of China go straight into the United States. But do you think Xbox can handle that? $1,225? That's crazy. The tariff is $225 more than the actual cost they're trying to sell it for. And that goes on top of this. So they're trying to sell it for this, which is $600 now. And then Xbox is having to pay this every time the unit crosses the state lines and gets checked. Now, there are warehouses where they can store it and not pay the tariff right away, but as soon as they take it out pallet by pallet out of that warehouse, they have to pay the tariff. And yeah, there is no freaking way they can do this. Now, Microsoft is, of course, a really big company, right? They deal with software. But what makes all of the software for Microsoft Word and the whole Microsoft suite and Microsoft 360 and their Copilot and Muse and all of this stuff? It's hardware, right? Computers, okay, screens, mice, hard drives, servers, cords, all of that stuff, okay, is not necessarily made in the United States. It's made outside of the United States. And again, the biggest manufacturer is over in China. Again, when you walk through any store, like a Walmart, Fred Meyer, Costco, whatever, 90+% of that stuff is made in China at 145%. Now, some of you might be thinking, okay, Tread, well, what about the 90-day pause? It's not paused for China right now. So anything that is literally coming across state lines into the ports, this is what they're paying. 145% and $1,225 for an Xbox. That's what Xbox is paying. They can't sell that. They can't sell it for $1,300 and make a profit. No one's going to buy that. Nobody. Let's take a look at PlayStation. Oh, look at that. China again. What a surprise. Of course, there's some other things, right? And where it's actually manufactured and all put together as an assembly line, I'm not exactly sure. But again, a lot of the parts, if not almost all of them, are actually manufactured in China. So, again, this is what they're paying. 145%. Now, if they have a solid unit or it's broken up into little pieces like Xbox and then assembled in America, again, this is not quite exactly what they're paying, but it's probably pretty damn close. Xbox can't survive off of that. That's impossible. Okay, the controllers, any of the controllers that I have here, any PlayStation controllers that I've fixed, guess where they're made? They're made in China. They've been made in Taiwan, Indonesia. I think Indonesia, maybe I'm misremembering. That's totally possible because I don't have any right now in front of me. But like when we take a look at this, okay, there's Vietnam, 46%. What's 46%? Because that's where most of the Switch 2s are being made. $450 at, let me find it. Oh yeah, they have Cambodia too. Well, that's close enough. Cambodia. Calculate. $670. That's what Nintendo is paying for right now to get their Switch 2 across the border into the United States. This is what they want to sell it for. And this is what they're paying. Folks, Nintendo is literally the most efficient and most profitable gaming company in the world right now, at least as a console. Okay, let's go take a look. This is yearly. 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23. 24 will be pretty soon. But let's take a look at this, okay? Basically 20%, 27%, 28%, 27%, 29%. Really good year in 23. That's their profit margin. That means they put in $100 and they get $129 back. And the problem is that this 49%, it's basically almost double of what their profit margin is. They can't make any money. So are we likely to see Switch 2s go up again? Oh, frick, yeah, we are. Abso-freaking-lutely. Now, there's a deal going on right now with Vietnam where a lot of the manufacturing is taking place. But again, it's like that's 46%, and it is a part of the pause. So there's some time to work on figuring this out. But you can't stop this massive manufacturing around the world and build factories somewhere else and then start production in 3 months. It takes years to do that. You got to get the capital, you got to go to the different countries, you got to make sure everything is in line with the permits and their laws, get all the materials over there, source everything, put it all together, get it running, get it all hooked up to the grid and water and everything else and all the safety features, hire all the employees and get all the material there to actually make your product and start making it. It takes forever. It takes forever. Okay, so we know that PlayStation, they're going to have to raise their prices again. Because, again, they can't survive. They can't survive this. Again, I don't know exactly their entire operation, but let's say they're paying double just to get it into the country. And then you start thinking about controllers, you start thinking about Joy-Cons, you start thinking about hard drives and express cards and SSDs and two, you got to also think about NVIDIA and AMD. Where do they make their stuff? Most of it's not here. Not in the States. It's somewhere else. Let's take a look. Let's see. NVIDIA 50 series. Where is manufacturing? Taiwan. Let's go look it up. Taiwan. 32%. Okay. So if it's $1,000, it's now $1,320. 32% again is massive. Nvidia can't swallow that. Guys, we're keeping this just to gaming for right now. But again, if anything is made outside of the United States, and again, just like retail, like I mentioned, it's not just a gaming problem. Okay, it's your tires, it's your car parts, it's everything you're looking at almost in your room, in your living room, in your house, in your apartment, whatever. It's all coming from not here. And the base tariff for everybody else that isn't screwed like in this list is 10%. So what's $100 is now $110. And they got to raise the price to actually make a profit margin, which they like to make 5-15% depending on the product. Yeah, this is unsustainable. And again, this is not a pause. China is not paused. This is now. And I really want to drive this home because I've listened to a lot of channels and a lot of videos recently, and I just want to hammer this home for folks. Because, yeah, these companies, while their financial problems are their problem, not mine, there's no way they can survive on this. And you can't change manufacturing like that. So if you like the video, folks, go ahead and like, sub, all that jazz. You can find me at Gaming Garbage 22 or on YouTube. You can also poke around on my playlist there. You can also follow me at Twitch at Don't Tread on Thee. And if you enjoyed the video, hey, please go ahead and share it. I'd appreciate that so much. So with that, folks, we'll see you guys on the next one.